So this is chapter 33, video number 4, I believe it is. This one's going to be on automatic or built-in stabilizers in the economy. So your book covers this on pages 664, 665. And first off, what are the built-in stabilizers in the economy? They are the progressive tax structure. Remember that income taxes are progressive. If you earn only low income, you only pay a low percentage of your income. You only pay 10% or less of your income if you're very low income. If you're medium income, your tax rate probably goes up to 12, 13, 14, 15%. And if you're got pretty good income, you're making a couple $100,000 a year, you're probably a total tax hit of about maybe 18, 19, 20, 25%. And for the really wealthy, they're paying maybe well over 25, 30% of their income. Although in the reality, the wealthy have tax breaks and tax accountants that find them ways to reduce their tax liability. But that's another story for another time. We basically have a progressive tax structure where the more money people make, the higher rate they pay, the less money they make. So your book has this graph suggesting that government spending, so the vertical axis is spending, as it always is, only this time it's going to, actually we're going back to that graph that we had way back in chapter 30, where the vertical axis is spending and not the price level. So the vertical axis here is government spending, or it's also a measure of the amount of taxes that government collects. So let's start off with government spending. Remember that government spending, the G in C plus I plus G plus X sub N, is determined by politics, not by the economy. So the horizontal axis here is the GDP, and government spending is constant regardless of what the GDP is. So that line is labeled G for government spending. That's the dollar amount of government spending. Ideally, in a perfect world, an economy would say at the level of output that is our full employment level of output, we want to have a situation where the tax receipts equal the government spending. So in a perfect world, tax receipts would be whatever the government spending dollar amount is. If that's $100 billion, then tax receipts would be $100 billion. But since taxes are tied to your income, at lower income, tax receipts, tax revenues for the government are going to go down. Okay, and at higher levels of income, tax receipts are going to increase because people are paying more taxes. Their income's greater, their taxes are more, and government collects more taxes. So that line represents the amount of tax revenues that government takes in. And as your book shows, this is the area of tax deficits or deficit budgets. And this is an area of surpluses. Okay, so if we're in recession and the nation's income or the nation's output, GDP level of GDP is here at Y1, that would be the tax revenues that the government would have, that would be their spending, and that would be the vertical distance here would be the deficit. All right, so what we're saying is when we go into recession, government taxes automatically go down. Not only do tax revenues for the government go down, but the tax rate, the average tax rate that American taxpayers all added up pay goes down. And that means that in a recession, we have an automatic decrease in taxes. That's an automatic stabilizer. And whenever we're overheated and the economy is operating at too high of a pace and we're worried about inflation setting in, or we already have inflation setting in, taxes automatically go up. Another part of the automatic stabilizers is the welfare system. And by welfare, I mean not only payments to families that are poor or individuals that are very poor, but also unemployment benefits. So the situation is, when we go into a recession, more and more people go to the unemployment office and apply for unemployment benefits, which is exactly what is happening this past week. There have been literally 100,000 applications for unemployment benefits over the last several days, each of the last several days, and it's been going up to 200,000, I believe, in recent days per day. So that's a lot of people that are being laid off and are applying for unemployment benefits. So government spending, this flat line, is really theoretical, correct maybe, but in reality, government spending increases a little bit as we go back this way because of the welfare system and unemployment benefits. And when the economy is going well, and we're going what I call gangbusters economy, everything is going really well, everybody has a job, almost nobody is getting those welfare payments. And this is probably a more accurate view of government spending. So those are the automatic stabilizers in the economy. I know your book doesn't draw this government spending line like that. Your author explains that he's building in the welfare payments into, as kind of negative taxes, into the tax structure here. But I think this is a better explanation of it for your first time hearing about these automatic stabilizers. So when we go into recession, tax rate actually falls a little bit. Taxes go down automatically without Congress having to pass a new law. And government spending goes up a little bit with unemployment benefits and welfare payments without Congress having to change the laws. Those are the automatic built-in stabilizers in the economy.